Good morning, guys. We're going to be doing algebra today, and I will start with the definition. Algebra is part of mathematics where letters and other general symbols are used to represent numbers and quantities in a formula or an equation. A variable is a symbol for a number we do not know yet. A variable is a symbol for a number that we do not know yet. That's what a variable is. It is a symbol for a number that we don't know yet, all right? A variable is a symbol for a number that we do not know yet. And I'm just going to highlight that. So a variable is a symbol for a number that we do not know yet, right? It is usually a letter like X and Y. So it will be, it is usually a letter like X and Y, as I've just said, and it is simply a symbol for a number we do not know yet. That's what a variable is. It is a symbol for a number that we do not know yet. And as I've said, it is usually like a letter like X, Y. It can be M at times, it can be K in most cases, all right? A constant is a number on its own. It is not affected by change of a variable. So a symbol, as I've said, a variable is a symbol for a number we don't know yet. And obviously that number will be affected by whether it's dependent or independent. So those two numbers, as I've just said, your variable normally you'll have X depending on Y depending on X. Now there is a number on the expression. That number, if it's not affected by a change in X or by a change in Y, that number we call it a constant, all right? In most cases, guys, a constant will just be a number without any variable attached to it. But later on when you get to grade 10, 11, and 12, it'll be a little bit different because you might have a constant which is a variable, but it will be a constant because it's not affected by any increase or decrease of a dependent variable or the independent variable. As I've said, guys, a constant is just a number on its own. So no variable attached to it. A coefficient, on the other hand, is a number used to multiply a variable. Now, if I have 3x, that 3 is the coefficient. So if I have 3x, this 3 here will be the coefficient of x, all right? It will be the coefficient of x. 3 will be the coefficient of x. That 3 will simply be a coefficient of x. And here is what you need to know about terms. Terms are separated by plus or minus. Terms are separated by plus or minus. Terms are separated by plus or minus. Multiplication and division combine different terms and make them one. Multiplication and division combines different terms and make them one. Multiplication and division combine different terms and make them one. An exponent is the number that informs you as to how many times a variable has been multiplied by itself. A variable is a number that informs you how many times a variable has been multiplied by itself. And in this scenario, please note I give an example of y squared. If I have y squared, note that 2, the exponent 2, tells you that y has been multiplied by itself twice. The exponent 2 informs you that y has been multiplied by itself twice. So if I have y squared, This tells you that y was multiplied by itself twice. So I had y multiplied by y. If I have y cubed, this tells me that I multiplied y by itself 3 times. So I'll have y multiplied by y 3 times. A term is a combination of numbers and or variables linked by multiplication or division. Like I gave you an example there, 5 multiplied by x, that is linked by multiplication. So term is a combination of numbers or variables linked by multiplication or division. So I can have 6 divided by x. This is a term. It is linked by division. An expression in bracket is one term. This is one term because it has a bracket. It is enclosed by a bracket. But inside the bracket, I've got 3 terms, which is x cubed minus 2x minus 3. But because I've got them enclosed by a bracket, there will be one term. And then because that bracket is multiplied with, remember bracket means multiplication. Since that bracket is multiplied with 2x squared, this whole expression becomes one term. Remember, a term is linked by multiplication and division. Now you know that it will also be linked by brackets. So if it is enclosed by bracket, it will be one term. An expression linked by division is also one term. So if I have x squared minus 8 divided by 2, this whole expression will be one term because a term is linked by multiplication, bracket, and division. Example 1. Given this expression, how many terms are given in the above expression? Remember, I said terms can be linked by multiplication. So 3x cubed is one term. However, terms can only be separated by plus or minus, meaning that 3x cubed plus 2x cubed may not be one term because in between there's a plus. So that tells you that 3x cubed is a term on itself, on its own, and 2x squared is a term on its own, and minus 3x is also a term on its own, and the last one will be 9. In essence, we are given 4 terms. The first term will be 3x cubed, the second term will be 2x squared, the third term will be 3x, and the last term will be 9. State the variable. In all those 4 terms that are given, what is our variable? Remember, a variable is simply a symbol or a letter that represents a number we do not know yet. Now, what is our variable in the given expression? Correct. Our variable will be x. What is the coefficient of x? This is where you need to be careful. We've got x cubed. The coefficient of x cubed will be 3. We've got x squared. The coefficient of x squared will be 2. And then we've got x. What is the coefficient of x? Correct. The coefficient of x will be minus 3. Write down the constant. I did explain earlier on, a constant, it's a number that is on its own and it's not multiplied or divided by a variable. Which number is that? Correct, that number is 9. So 9 is the constant. Let us look at example 2. It is still the same expression, but I've got different questions. What is the highest degree or the highest exponent? Is it 2? No, it's not 2. The highest exponent in that given expression is 3. 3 will be the highest exponent. What is the coefficient of x squared? I did tell you guys in the previous slide, the coefficient of x squared will be positive 2. If 10 is added to the expression, how many terms will there be? Let's add 10 to the expression. So I took the same expression, I added 10. Note that if I add 10 and 9, that will give me 19. Later on, we'll speak about like terms. If terms are the same, you just add them. So I added 8, 9, and 10. And when you add 9 and 10, it'll give you 19. Now let's count. How many terms do I now have? It is 1, 2, and 3. The last one will be 4. So I've been given 4 terms. Example 3. Given this expression, how many terms are given in the expression above? Remember, terms are linked by division or bracket or multiplication. Because of that, we've got 1, 2, 3 terms. So in essence, we've got 3 terms. And then state the variable. What is our variable? Our variable is x. So x will be our variable. What is the coefficient of x? As I've said, guys, be careful, don't be confused. There's a difference between x and x cubed and x squared. Here is x here. The coefficient of x will simply be 2. A number multiplied with x is 2. And then they said, write down the constant. In all these terms, what will be our constant? Our constant will be minus 2. Please note that if I was to break something here, I was going to have a different constant. But for now, guys, our constant will be minus 2. Here's your classwork. And another one will be exercise 1 on page 79. Please take a picture of that page and send it to the group.